Hey everybody, and welcome to another Jamovi tutorial. In this video, we are going to continue our PAMLJ Power Analysis series. And in this particular video, we are going to be doing the mediation power analysis function of the module. So let's go ahead and get started. So you can see here, I have all of the modules installed, and we are going to center on power here. So under power, you click on that, and you get all of these. Very nice. So two of the ones that we aren't going to do in this series is the SEM and the linear mixed models. Unfortunately, we're not going to go ahead and do that. Sorry for those of you who are looking for those two. But in this case, we're going to do mediation. Before we jump into that, how do you get this? You go up to modules, go up to Jamovi library or manage installed, whichever one you'd like to do. Installed or available, you can see that, most of them are the same. And we can type in PAM here. Might as well, if it's a big list, and you'll get the Marcello Gallucci PAMLJ Power Analysis for linear models. And it has all of this. So you click install and add it to your Jamovi. So let's go ahead and open up mediation. And you can see here that we've got two types. In this video, we are only going to focus on the simple 3 variables, which is the default one that opens. You do not have to have this one. Now, let me just show you what the complex one looks like. It's complex. So you click on that and the output changes to complex. This is if you have 2 or more mediators and what it is that they are doing. There are multiple different kinds of complex. There are 3, in fact, 3 parallel mediators, as you can see here, and 2 serial mediators, X and Y, and then 2 serial, 1 mediator mediating the other. All of these paths are labeled, which is very lovely, just in case you wanted to set up the complex. You have to fill in what is required here in all of this. That is how you do each of these, and you can see here that the most complex of the inputs is this 3 mediator model, and then 2 is you have other boxes. So you have 5 things to put in for the complex, 9 things to put in for the 3 parallel, and 5 things to put in for the 2 serial. So we're not going to do that. We're only going to do an X, a Y, and an M. We have 3 things that we need to put in here, and that's all I'd like to do. So otherwise this video would be so long, or I'd have to have 4 videos, and I unfortunately don't have the time to do that. So we're just going to focus on a mediation analysis that has an X variable, a predictor variable, a Y variable, an outcome variable, and an M variable, or the mediator. So we have 3 effects that we need to put in under parameters, okay? And as you can see here, we already have some default values. So that is to say, we have the values here that we are looking for. And if we go to info and options, oh boy, there is no explanatory text. Interesting. Okay, well, it's a bit of a bummer. That's okay. Oh, explanatory text is right there. There we go. I don't know why it closes the info thing the whole time, right? So what you see here is the kind of test that comes out of a discussion of multiple regression. So that is to say, I've got 2 variables, but I believe logically that one of those variables, the mediator, is actually the variable that my main predictor acts through. We call that the A path. And of course, the mediator variable then works to vary with our Y variable, and we call that the B path. So these 2, A and B, are my indirect paths. And indirect because I am not going from X to Y. That is your simple mediation analysis, rather than putting X1 and X2 and seeing what they do with Y. So that's what a mediation analysis is. And C prime here represents our indirect, our direct or outcome or effect, right? So that's what C prime is. So you can see here that the way that they've set up this model is that all of the variance goes through M from X to Y, where there is no effect for the direct. This is called a joint significance test. And that is typically what you test for if you're using the process module in SPSS or in JASP. We don't really have a process for Jamovi just yet, but if you were using the medmod, for example, which you can get, the medmod, I don't know where that might be in this. I wish this was in alphabetical order. Medmod, there we go. You can use the mediation, very similar to process in that case, right? That test is a joint significance test. That's why it is over here, the type of test that we're doing, joint significance, because we are determining whether these things are significant at the same time. So what we need to set up here, and you can use a Sobel or a Monte Carlo test. The Monte Carlo test is slow. So just to show you, I'll show you what those look like after we run through the parameters. So let's set up this a priori power analysis, okay? Because we want a sample size. And of course, with all of this stuff default in here, our sample size is 137. So let's take a look at what the default is set up. So we've got the X2 mediator effect, the indirect A. That's going to be a value of 0.3. So a medium effect size. That's the coefficient for this relationship here. Very similar to R, right? A Pearson's R. The mediator to Y, which is our second indirect effect, B, is also going to be a medium 0.3. And in this default setup, like I said a minute ago, we are saying the direct effect, or C prime. C without the prime would just be X to Y, by the way, without the mediator in the model. So that's why it's C prime, because you have changed it. We're saying that the mediator is taking all of the variance that you would see from X to Y, right? The R value that you would see, that you would observe from X to Y, it's taking it all out of the model of that direct effect. So that's going to be 0. Our minimum desired power default is 0.9. We can change to 0.8 to see what that would look like in just a second. Our alpha type 1 error rate, 0.05. We never changed that. And then we can change the tail of 1 tail to 2 tail. Now that's just if we think that there is a directionality to this test. I would say for mediation, be more conservative / strict and keep it as a 2-tailed test. Okay. By default, the path diagram is labeled, but you can remove that if you want to. It's nice to visualize it. I prefer that. You can also add in what the effect would be if you did this without the mediator, right? So this would be the C path or the original direct effect. Okay. And you can see here that it would be 0.9 and not 0. Our power would be 0.18 though. It would be 18%. That's not great. With 137 people, we would only have a power of 0.18. So power represents the attainable power in a simple regression with only X and Y. Given the input parameters, the N is set based on the smallest mediated effect. So this is what you would set up using another another power analysis. You would set up here in general linear model, probably you would set that up. But you can see here that the estimated effect that we have gotten for X to Y is 0.9. That's the beta that we have down here. So that's the equivalent information. That's essentially X to Y without the mediator in the model. Okay. So, and that's the values that you see right here, right? 0.9. ME, R squared predicting M, the mediator, R squared predicting Y, and then the XY correlation or C, right? So that's essentially what we have down here. XY, C in this computed parameters, 0.09. That's what we have down here. Okay. So you don't have to have that want to, because that is right here. So if we want to make some changes, so let's go ahead and make some changes here. So let's say that we're going to have a minimum desired power of conventional 80%. That means we need almost 20 fewer people, 109, right? But let's say that if we keep it at 0.8, but there's going to be some residual covariance between X and Y even after inputting this variance, right? So let's say we're reading a paper and it's got this lovely 3-variable diagram and it's like 0.3, 0.3, 0.1. We don't know how many, well, we do know how many people that they tested in their studies to get that outcome, right? So we're going to use that same information here and see how many we would need. It doesn't really change the needle very much. 108. Let me take that back to 0 and show you that again, right? You can scrub too. It's one fewer person for this modified direct effect. And if we go here, the XY correlation, so the C path without the mediator is 0.19, 0.2. Not bad. Small to medium effect. Not bad. A lot of times you see that in behavioral science studies anyway. But if we say that, what if we say that the mediator and the predictor variable, our X, is actually going to have a stronger correlation because they're more heavily related to each other than the mediator is to Y. But we still think logically that the mediator is part of this causal chain, right? So we put 0.05 and we leave B as 0.03. We have some residual direct effect going on. X is still somewhat related to Y. You can see that we need fewer people even still. Look at that, 101. Well, if we change, let's say we change instead of 0.05, we say that X is actually weaker of a relationship between X and M. Statistically significant still, okay? But at the 0.2 level, how many more people do we need? We need almost 100 more from X to M if we leave B the same. So you can see here that the relationships and our paths, so X to M or M to Y, are going to indicate how many people we need because that's just correlation, right? That's just the general linear model regression. That's the smaller the effect, the more people we need to detect that effect, right? Regardless of what we have here. Now I can show you what would happen if we change the type of test to Sobel, okay? A Sobel test is a stricter test, is a little bit more conservative. So you can see here that not changing any of my paths. So a weaker A, B is the same, a little residual direct effect, right? We need 269 people to do a Sobel test. If we do a Monte Carlo test, I'm hoping this isn't going to harm my computer here. It's that slow. We'll see what happens. It's working. Beep, beep, beep. It's interesting. Pauses when I have it zoomed. Monte Carlo method may take several minutes to estimate the results. Please be patient. Well, I am going to cut to when it pops up. Hey, there it popped up. Several minutes. Yeah, right. That was only like 5 more seconds from when I said I was going to cut. That's too funny. 190 to do Monte Carlo. And now the number of simulations that were in Monte Carlo were 1,000. Okay, so that's, you increase that number, it slows it down. It slows it down. But you can see here with that information that we need 190. And using that info part here is a good place to get everything set up. Now, again, we can calculate power. Oh, actually, let me take the Monte Carlo simulation off, go back to joint significance. Joint significance takes a second. You can see here that if we're calculating power with all the parameters that I put in, but let's say our sample size is 100, you can see that our power is basically 0.47. Not great, 50-50. As you can, these tables should be familiar to you. If you've been watching my videos, you can see that it would be in the under 50% likely miss category, right? Because our sample size is under 106. So that would be projected power based on, let's say we can run 100 people with these parameters. What are we expecting to find? That kind of thing You can also use that as a post hoc power. And then effect size. Effect size is what you would get if you had a sample size and put in your mediator to y effect. So essentially the effect size that we are looking for is path A. Okay, that's what is calculated with effect size here. I wish you could do both because these technically are two effects that you are looking for. They're indirect. The reason the mediator is in there is because we think that it has a logical pathing between our X and Y, our predictor and our outcome. So I wish you could do both, but I guess it's been a while since I've looked into the theory around this statistical analysis. But my assumption would be, and you can correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, is that the indirect between X and M is more important to a mediation than M to Y because that's the start of the path. And so if you have a good M to Y, then great. But if you don't have a very good X to M, then who cares about this mediation analysis? Who cares, right? So that's what I'm thinking that is what it's for in the joint significance test. And that's why this A path is grayed out. But you can see here that our effect size, our R value is going to be 0.1. So a small effect with 100 people and a B path value of 0.3 and our indirect C prime, or direct, excuse me, of C prime of 0.1. Okay, yeah. So the effect size, 0.1. All right. The required X to mediation coefficient is 0.328, yielding a power equal to 0.8. Okay. So effect size actually tells you two things in the mediation power analysis. What the overall effect needs to be, 0.9 or 0.1, not 0.9, excuse me, 0.1 or 0.98, and the path between X and mediator or path A as 0.33. Okay. Which was very similar to what I had in when I started making changes here. Now, the sensitivity analysis only has the power curve, just FYI, only has a power curve. You can use the log scale when necessary, but you don't really need to. And you can make your own power parameters plot as well, as you've seen in some of my earlier videos discussing PAMLJ module as a whole. Now, on the Monte Carlo, the options are 100% only for Monte Carlo. You can use parallel computation. You can use a seed value. And then, of course, if I use a seed value, then I would have to change that number there. And the number of simulations, if I increase that, the longer the values, or the longer the computation takes, 1,000 by. And so that is how you do a simple mediation analysis, power analysis for calculating sample size, effect size, or power in PAMLJ. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, or other feedback, please leave those in the comment section below. Thanks for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.